My name's Susan and this is my husband Andy, and we are chicken farmers. We've been farming now for 4 years. We have 240,000 birds in 6 sheds on our farm. Chicken farming is great. We really enjoy the work that we do, caring for the chickens. They're a great livestock to have, and we're really proud of raising chickens for the community. At the beginning of the batch, our chickens are hatched, and on that same day they arrive on a truck from the hatchery. But before that, we've had to make sure that we've prepared the sheds ready for the chickens to arrive to a nice clean environment. So some of the things that we have to do at the completion of the previous batch is to disinfect and clean the sheds to make sure that there's no germs and bacteria left in the sheds from the previous flock, just so that our new chicks get a really good start. Some of the jobs that we need to do right at the beginning of preparing the sheds for a new batch is to go around, make sure all of our fans and ventilation equipment are all in good working condition, and it's an opportunity to do any routine maintenance. Following that, we'll then start setting up the sheds, and that means bringing in new wood shavings that create the bedding for the new chicks.
We call it litter. It serves a few purposes. It's absorbency, it's a good insulator for the birds to maintain the heat, and they enjoy dust bathing and that sort of stuff in it.
We make sure that we've got fresh starter, which is a bit smaller for new chicks, comes in fresh straight from the mill. And we also flush the water lines so that everything they've got is fresh. And then we turn the heaters on and make sure that the whole shed, including the floor, is at the optimum temperature. So we use temperature monitoring systems to make sure that we're achieving an even spread across the sheds.
When the truck arrives, we bring them straight in down to the far end of the brood. And then we just start setting the crates out and place them as quick as we can, get them onto the feed and water.
We lower the feeders and drinkers down to just above ground level so that the chicks can very quickly find food and water.
And it's amazing, once you've placed and we've moved down the shed for the next placement, the chicks have found the feed, they're hitting the drinker nipples, they love that stainless steel colour. Yeah, they're pretty smart.
In the first 24 hours, we're coming into the sheds to check the chickens. Every couple of hours we'll do a crop check, and that's just checking to make sure that we can feel that they've ingested some food and water. When we first walk into a shed, we're coming in to do our husbandry checks. So we're looking at the chickens, looking at their behaviour. Are they comfortable? So is the temperature okay? Their behaviour tells us if the temperature isn't right or there's patches of hot and cold in the sheds. So
Nice even spread.
yes, yeah.
Not clumped together or sitting against the edge of the shed.
And then that gives us warning as do we need to change some aspect of how the shed's operating. Yeah. Some of the other things that we do is just walk through and see if any have died. There is a level of mortality in the chickens, so we're just walking through and we'll remove them from the sheds. We record all of the information that we observe, as well as some of the physical things that are going on, like the temperature within the sheds.
We've got a generator that runs the whole farm. It's big enough to run all 6 sheds on the hottest day with all the fans going. We can monitor the conditions inside the shed remotely from home. Alarms that are monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And we know straight away if there's anything wrong. On our daily checks when we come into the sheds, we are looking to make sure that the feeder and drinker lines are at the right height. So we'll be adjusting them probably every day as the birds grow, just lifting them up a little bit more. We're also looking to make sure that the water pressure in the drinker lines is adequate for them and that the feed quality in the pans is good. The other thing that we'll do is also make sure that the litter condition is still dry and friable to get all of those good qualities that we want.
During the warmer times of the year. We have sensors down the length of the sheds, monitored by our computer, and it gives us an indication when we should start using our cooling. After we've done our inside checks, we do our outside checks. That includes checking bait stations. We like to maintain all the ranges. It really helps us control rodents or birds coming in around the sheds and helps us control disease.
Biosecurity is a big deal for any poultry farm to protect the health and welfare of our chickens. We need to make sure that we don't introduce any diseases or influences from the outside. Now that the chickens are bigger, they have more feathers on their body, and the temperature inside the sheds is cooler because they're able to regulate their temperature easily with their adult feathers.
Once our chickens get older and have a good feather coverage, ours have the opportunity to go outside as free-range birds. We normally open those pop-outs early in the morning once the temperature comes up a bit, so it's nice and comfortable for them. Our chickens have access to the range during daylight hours, and the amount of time they can spend out there is dependent on the weather conditions.
The health and well-being of the chickens is our main focus on the farm. The company rep visits the farm regularly. They're looking at our chickens and their welfare, but they're also looking at our records as well to make sure that we're maintaining the right standards. They're available along with a company vet 24 hours a day if we have any questions or any issues that we need to liaise with them about. We have an external auditing program that occurs throughout the batch, and that's to make sure that we're maintaining a high standard of farming for our chickens.
Once our chickens reach the right size for market, we have the birds taken off feed for a period of time. Once they've been lifted up, we've always got water there for the birds to drink, and that stays down right until the catches are ready to go in. Before the catches arrive, we do a walk through the shed just to make sure that all the chickens are fit for travel. Once the catches arrive, I have a chat with the supervisor and basically just hand the control of the shed to him. They then go in, catch all the chickens, they transport them to the processing plant for slaughter.
Once all the chickens have been collected, we go in and we clean out all of the used litter. We wash down all of the sheds and then fumigate to make sure that any diseases have been eradicated so that we've got a really clean start for the next batch of chickens that come in. Life of a chicken farmer is busy whether or not we have chickens on the farm. There's always something to do.
But we really enjoy it. We love what we do and happy to supply a good product for Australian consumers.